Welcome to our series on solving linear equations. Join my classes and learn more. Here is a class with Naisha, a grade 8 student, a gold medalist. She needs gold in mathematics also. Let us see how do we practice and attain our objectives. More than 100 questions involving solving equations and word problems are included in this video. You can pause the video at that stage and try some of them. In case you need help, you can always contact me. Now, let us begin with our class with Naisha. Hi Naisha, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. So tell me, what do you want to do today?
Today, we will continue our chapter equations in one variable.
Equations in one variable. Good. So before we begin, can you please tell me about yourself?
Yes, my name is Asha Khandelwal. I am studying in grade A, and I'm an archery player. I've won gold in archery. If I want to have gold in maths also, that's fine.
Good. So you are already a golden girl, winning gold in archery. Now it is chance to win gold in mathematics. Correct? I have actually prepared a very detailed lesson for you, just as you work hard for in sports. Now we will be working hard in mathematics. So in today's lesson, I'll share with you worksheets, which will have more than 50 questions. And also we'll look into many solved examples, and we'll also take up questions from your book. So this 1 hour class will be packed with a lot of information. Okay. I hope you get them all. So let's begin by, let me share with you the lesson which I have prepared for you. Can you see my screen, please?
No, yes, not yes.
Now you can see it, right? Very good. And see, as you can see in the screen, what is the topic? Can you tell me what is the topic written here?
Linear equations of a form.
Right. So the topic is linear equations in one variable. And when we say linear equations in one variable, we'll say, well, let the variable be x, and then we'll work on it. Right? Can you see this linear equation one variable part two?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. So we'll work on this. Part one, we discussed how to solve linear equations. We took some examples in previous class. Now, we will review how to solve linear equations, but we will move on to word problems, right? So the idea today is to look into linear equations of the form ax plus b equals to c. And of course, a is not equal to 0. If a is 0, then it becomes b equals to c, correct?
Yes.
Aisha, we will also look into the equations of the form ax plus b divided by cx plus d. They do not look like linear equations, but if we cross multiply, they become a linear equation. You get the idea? Correct?
Yes.
Of course, denominator cannot be 0. So cx plus d, which is there in the denominator, cannot be 0. So we'll have equations of that form, right? So,
Yes.
and to understand this better, we will look into word problem, right? Now, when I say solve an equation, it means what to you? What do you mean by saying solve an equation? Can you tell me, Naisha?
Um, they will give us the word problem and collecting the means like which numbers they give or whatever we have to put it together and solve it.
Correct. So, a value of variable, let us say x is our variable, that makes the right side equal to left side is called solution of the or the root of the equation, right? So when I say solve the equation, it really means what? When I say solve, it means find unknown. So find unknown. And unknown is x for us in this equation. Is it okay? Solve for that.
Yes.
And that makes equal to equation same. So when we solve the equation, what did you learn earlier? Let me review some steps. We learned that the equation remains unchanged if you add same number on both the sides, right? If I have an equation, if I add 5 on left side and 5 on the right side, it does not change, correct? If I subtract same number from both sides, it does not change. Or if I multiply or divide by the same number on both the sides, equation does not change, right? That helps to solve the equation. Perfect. Another
Yes.
important thing is transpose the term from one side to another. Let me, will, with the help of example, I will make you understand what these three things really mean. So let us say we have an equation 2x plus 5 equals to 11. Okay. If I have to solve this equation, what will I do? Well, I would first do minus 5 from both the sides, right? I want to isolate x, correct? So here,
Yes.
solve means isolate x, right? So what am I doing? Step 1, I will do minus 1 both sides. As soon as I do minus 1 both sides, I get 2x equals to 6, right?
6. Yes.
Now what should I do? I will divide by 2. So when I divide by 2, I get the value of x, which is 3 in this particular case, correct?
Yes.
You saw it is easy. Sometimes you also learn that you should actually check the answer also, right? So let's say check solution. So when I say check solution means we know x is equal to 3, so we substitute. Correct? Means 2 times 3 plus 5 is equals to what? 6 plus 5. And that is equal to 11, and that is right hand side. So that means it is the right solution. Is that clear?
Yes.
So when you get a solution, you can substitute the value and check if it is right or not, as we did here. Sometimes required, not always. Okay, now let me take another example. And this time the example is 2 times x plus 5 minus 3 equals to 19. Tell me, how will you solve this equation, Naija?
We will subtract 3 on both the sides.
Add.
Add.
Because it is
Yes.
a reverse operation, correct? You will add 3, right? Add
Yes.
3 on both sides. And then what?
And then we get 2 bracket x plus 5 bracket is equal to 22.
Correct. And then
And then we will divide it by
we'll
2.
divide by 2,
Yes.
get 11, and then
Yes.
we will subtract 5
Yes.
and get 6, correct?
Correct.
Now, what have I done here? In these steps, what I have done here is I have used the property to transpose a term. So when I transpose, let us say from one side to the other, let's say we are transposing from here to there, then the plus becomes minus, multiplication becomes division. Do you see that? So reverse happens, correct? So what we did here is that the term which was 2 times, it became division. Do you see that? And plus 5 became negative 5, correct?
Yes.
So transposing means reverse this direction, right? So when you do 5, I get minus 5. When you go 2, I get divide by 2. That is transposing. So in this case of transposing, we are not adding or subtracting same terms both sides or dividing by same terms. We directly do it because that is the end result, right? So
Yes.
we do this. Now in these two examples, you have seen one thing. For example, here, what did we do first? We subtracted minus 5 and then we divide. So subtract minus 5 and then we divide by 2, correct? So it is kind of a reverse way of working, correct? You remember
Yes.
advance? When you work with equation, so equation is solved by reverse order concept. So we are doing reverse order. Normally when you have to solve an equation, you follow, I should say expression, bed mass. Here we do the reverse. First we have done addition subtraction, correct?
Yes.
Then we did division multiplication and then the brackets. So we follow the order of operation kind of reverse way. You see that? Now,
Yes.
you should understand one thing. that this order is followed for expression.
Expression, okay.
So if you have to simplify an expression, everything on the one side, then you do BEDMAS. You see that?
Yes.
But when you do equation, then you do reverse. First we did addition, subtraction in the reverse order. You saw that? Do you see that?
Yes.
So when you simplify an expression, then follow BEDMAS.
Yes.
Bracket open, right? Exponents, division or multiplication or addition, subtraction. But when you solve an equation, you have to do reverse operation. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's take an example. Now I've taken a word problem. Here is first question for you. We are going to make a linear equation from the given word problem and then solve it. This is the main thing which we are going to learn today. Okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, as far as the expressions are concerned, let me share with you the expressions which you might have to. Let me share the screen. So now these are your worksheets. Do you have a look at it? Can you see the worksheet? Multi-step
Yes.
equations. So I'm just scrolling through. Later you can also scroll through. We'll pause the video, copy the questions and solve them. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the next page. These are all the equations which you could try and then get expert on solving equations, correct? So there are more than 50 equations in this particular worksheet. Is it okay? So you can
Yes.
do these equations. They do involve fractions and also decimal numbers at places, right? So, and they may involve solving on both the sides of the equation also. So solving equation practice, for that, this is your worksheet. Is it okay?
Yes. So where shall I solve this worksheet?
So you do your at when I'll upload the video. Then you go through the video and you can pause and you can try some questions out. Is it okay?
Yes.
And at the end, we have the answers also. You can check your answers. So you can choose at least 10 questions from here, 10, 20 questions and do them. Is it okay?
Yes.
Fine. And then we have a lot of word problems. And we also have worksheet on the rational type of equations. Do you see those equations? Ax plus b over this, correct?
Yes.
Now, this is very important for you to practice. I would like you to do most of the questions from this worksheet after we end our class. Is it okay?
Yes.
So there are many equations. They will involve factoring and then solution of those equations. So the worksheet is there with lot of questions, right? So endless questions. Correct. You can say that. Is it okay? I don't want
Yes.
you to do all of them, but I want you to do at least 10 of them. There are 24 questions here, half of them, correct?
Yes.
If you feel comfortable, otherwise, if there's a difficulty, you need to ask me. Okay?
Yes.
Let me also share with you the word problems. Do you see these word problems, right?
Yes.
Now, these word problems are arranged in the order of difficulty. We have easy questions first, right? And then more and more difficult questions. So, after we end the class, I would like you to do some of the word problems from this particular list. Can you see some of them
Yes.
now? Let me scroll the page up and you see some more, correct? If you have difficulty in any question, you can always ask me, right? You can say question number this, I need solution or help. How do we do? We can look into that. Is it okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So let me just show you these because let us say if you're interested in solving question number 20, in that case, you can actually pause the video at this page and then look into the solution. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, these are questions based on the aeroplane speed and then distance, time, and speed questions, which you should look into, right? So there are many questions which we have distance, time, and speed, which you can look into. Is it okay?
Yes.
And then we have questions which are based on digits. If I have a number and if I reverse the digit, its value changes because the place value changes. You get the idea?
Yes.
So at this stage, we have many questions based on reversing of the digits. Look into these questions, very important. You have to do them. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, there are more than 50 questions in this particular worksheet. I would like you to do at least half of them, if not all. Is that okay?
Yes.
You will be in a position to do them after we discuss our strategy to solve. So there's a lot of work, homework for you or worksheets for you in my lesson. So that is not a problem at all, right? Be ready to work on this. And at the end, we have mixed up problems, all mixed up in different ways. Do you see that? So these are the questions which you can look into. They will give you a lot of good practice. Okay. So now let's continue with, I'll stop sharing these word problems and the list and I'll continue with our lesson. So I hope you're not scared looking after those worksheets and so many questions to do. How do you feel?
I think just thinking that how to solve these questions. Like, there are so many, and I'm sure I will be able to solve them.
Yeah. So there are so many. If you want, you can do, but at least do uh, some of them. Is it okay? So it is there for you to practice at leisure. Choose the questions which you want to and then do. I want you to become comfortable with these kinds of questions. That's the whole idea. Is it okay? Let us see.
Yes.
At present, it looks big thing, but it won't be after the end of the class. Now, here is our very simple example, which says length of a rectangle is 6 meters less than twice its width. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 54, find its length and width. So in such a question, how are you going to solve a question? Can you tell me? What is going to be your strategy? How will you solve the question if you are given a word problem? So let's follow simple steps to solve word problem. Step number one. Step number one is define variables. Is that okay? And this goes with a sketch. So in our question, we are saying length of a rectangle is 6 meter less than twice its width. So you have come across two things. Is it okay? So we have come
Yes.
across two things. One is the length and one is the width, correct? So when we say define variables, you start with the let statement. It says length of a rectangle, let's read it. Length of a rectangle is 6 meter less than twice the width. That means if I define width as my one variable, then I can write length in terms of width, right?
Yes.
So what I will do is I will say let width be x. Do you see that? So I got my first variable. And because we are working on one variable, we'll just keep one variable for now. You can always write equation in two variables also, which I will discuss in mid of the chapter. Is that okay? So we are saying
Yes.
let width be x. Now we are also talking about a rectangle. So why not make a rectangle? So I'm just making a sketch here for a rectangle. And I'm saying let width be x. So I'll write x here for the width. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now it says length of the rectangle is 6 meter less than twice the width. It means what? Length will be equal to 6 meter less than twice the width. 2 times x minus 6. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So this length will be 2x minus 6. Now we have our sketch. So what we have done at this stage, we have done define the variable and sketch. Is that clear to you? So whenever
Yes.
you have a question, you have to read it slowly, understand what equation could be written, but that can be written only if you define a variable. So begin with two things in mind, define a variable and a sketch. So these two things go together and together. Okay. Now,
Yes.
next statement. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 54, find its length and width. So what is perimeter? Can you tell me what is perimeter?
Uh,
Perimeter is sum of all the sides, correct? So we already have our rectangle And we now find the perimeter. That means we have to add all these sides, correct?
Yes.
And how much is the perimeter? It is 54, right? So we are given that perimeter is 54. That means if I add all these sides, that means 2x minus 6 comes 2 times, right? And
Yes.
x also comes 2 times, both of them.
Yes.
So I could write an equation as 2 times, because both come 2 times, 2x minus 6 plus x, correct?
I can't see a screen actually.
You can't see the screen?
Yes, now I can see. Now I can see.
Okay. So what is perimeter? Perimeter is sum of all the sides. So I'll add this side 2x, which
Yes.
is this 2x minus 6, and then I'll add x, correct? Which is this side. And then
Yes.
this is done twice, right? Because this is also 2x minus 6 and this is x. So I put them in bracket and multiply by 2. Is it okay?
Yes.
So you could also write 2x minus 6 plus 2x minus 6 plus x plus x. You could do that, but it is better to do this, right? You know it has to be
Yes.
done 2 times. So we will do, instead of this, we will do right like this, 2 times 2x minus 6 plus x. And this perimeter is equal to 54. So once you do
Yes.
that, you get your equation. Is it okay? Now this equation is in one variable. You can see that.
Yes.
So now that means our next step should be relate variables, right?
Yes.
When you relate variables, you get an equation. Is it okay?
Yes.
And of course, once you get the equation, you have to solve it. Perfect. So first idea is one word problem, you have to get to the equation. So we got the equation. Now, how will you solve? Now, in this case, to solve this equation, what can I do? First thing I will do is, I will now, because in this equation, 2 is outside, without, I will first divide by 2 both sides, correct?
Yes.
And as soon as I divide by 2, and then I will also simplify the inside of the bracket. So this left side is an expression, correct? You simplify the expression. So 2x plus x is 3x, correct?
Yes.
So 2x plus x is 3x, and then we are left with minus 6. I divided 54 by 2 and I get 27.
Yes.
So I missed, because those steps you have to fill in now, because you know how to solve equations, correct? So our
Yes.
focus now is to understand how do we write equation from the word problem and then solve it. So solution, I'm giving you shortcut. I'm leaving some steps here in between, which you have to fill in. Is it okay? So
Yes.
you have 3x minus 6 equals to 27. How will you, now you need to isolate 3x. What will you do? You will take 6 on the other side, right? So you have 27 plus 6 is equals to 3x. And then you will divide by 3, correct?
Yes.
33 divided by 3 is 11. So you get the value of x, correct?
Yes.
So once you get the value of x, you know you have to find both length and width. X gives me a value of 11 in this case. To find the length, I know it is 2x minus 6. I substitute 11 for x and then do minus 6. I get my value 22 minus 6 as equals to 16, correct? So once you're done, then you have to write your solution clearly. The
I didn't
solution is,
understand this part of with x is equal to 11 then 2x minus 6 is equal to 1.
okay, I'll explain. So you understand this part, x is equals to 11, which I got from here.
Yes.
Now you also know what is the length.
Yes.
Length is 2x minus 6, right? Length is 2 times x minus 6. So x is what? X we calculated 11. So I substituted 11 for x and then calculated the length. Is it okay?
Yes.
So 2 times 11 is 22 and 22 minus 6 is 16. So that is
16.
how I got the value of length as 16. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Yeah, because we have worked on solution of equations. I've done some shortcuts here. I'm explaining you word problem and writing equations. Solution you have to work right after practicing. So what did you learn here? Important steps in problem solving are define variables, correct?
Yes.
Sketch diagram, include formulae. Some as the formula here is perimeter is sum of
Right.
all the sides.
Right. Yes.
Provide logic. The logic here which you're providing is that sum of all the sides is equals to perimeter and then you solve, right? Clearly write solution with units. So when you write down your answer, you have to include meters in this case. Units, very important. Otherwise, you lose marks. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
So these are important things to consider when you're solving a word problem. Now let's take up another example. Is this absolutely clear?
Yes.
Okay, example 2. Example 2 is the sum of three consecutive whole numbers is 84. Find the numbers. Now, once you read the question, tell me, what are consecutive numbers? Do you know? One after the other. Consecutive numbers are one after the other. For example, if I write 3, 4, 5, 6, like this, do you see one after the other? These are consecutive
Yes.
numbers. So, how do I write variables for consecutive numbers? See here. Let the smallest number be x. Then what is the next number?
84.
X plus 1. We are talking about general. So if I say x, then we have x plus 1, then we have x plus 2, and we have x plus 3, right?
Right.
So we are saying three consecutive numbers. Three consecutive numbers, whole numbers, will be x. These will be three consecutive numbers, x, x plus 1, and x plus 2, correct?
X plus 2. Yes.
So see how have I defined my variables. Let smallest number be x, then other numbers will be x plus 1 and x plus 2. How simple it is to write down your statement and all the variables. Is this clear to you?
Yes.
Now we are saying what? Let me show through this statement once again. The sum means sum of three consecutive whole numbers. Means you add them, correct? X plus
Yes.
x plus 1 plus x plus 2 is 84 equals to 84. You get your equation, correct? Does it make sense to you?
No, I didn't understand how to get 84.
Because the statement is the sum of three consecutive numbers is 84. This is a statement, right?
Statement.
So from statement, write down the equation.
Okay.
Is becomes equal to and 84. And on the other side, it is sum of consecutive numbers. So consecutive numbers are these, correct?
Yes.
Add them. Sum means to add them. So add them to get 84. Now is it clear to you?
Yes.
So you have an equation. So we have an equation now. Let me erase this. I need some space now. Okay. Now next step. How will you solve the equation? So what we can do is, we have this portion, left portion, which is an expression, right?
Yes.
So first thing, simplify expression. So when you simplify, you can combine the x's, correct? How many x's are there?
3x.
And add the numbers. 1 plus 2, you get 3. Is it okay?
3. Yes.
So we have simplified the expression. We get 3x plus 3 equals to 84. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now what will you do? You will transpose your variables or values, correct? Or you can add and subtract. Follow your strategy to solve the equation. You know that, correct?
Yes.
So you will take away 3 and then divide by 3. Is it okay? Because of
yes.
And you get your answer as 27. X is 27. So we got our first number as 27. Is it okay?
Yes.
So what are the other numbers? 28 and 29.
29.
These are my three numbers. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
So what I did, I wrote x equals to 27, added 1, and then added 2, And so we got three numbers, and I wrote this as my answer. The three numbers are 27, 28, and 29.
Okay.
So in this example, what did you learn? Simplify
I
each side before
executed.
transposing, right? So if you have so many things, put them as like ax plus b. So what are we doing? We are writing this as ax plus b equals to c. Is that okay?
Yes.
So first you simplify in this form of linear equation, ax plus b equals to c. Then you transpose, you add or subtract same things. You get the idea?
Yes.
So two things. First simplify expressions, then solve equation. Correct? So that's what I'm saying. Note, simplify each side before transposing. Means simplify your expressions and then solve the equation. Is it okay?
Yes.
Correct. Example 3. Example 3 is now we are getting into the next level, and that is you will now see equations which do not look like linear equations. Simple statement. The question here is find two numbers in the ratio. Find two numbers in the ratio 7:8 whose sum is 45. Whose sum is 45. How will you do this question? Tell me.
And two.
Correct. So I will first show you two variables. We are saying find two numbers in the ratio of 7:8. So we can say we'll use two variables and then we'll get to one variable. Is that okay? Find two numbers in
Yes.
the ratio of 7:8 whose sum is 45. The sum of those two numbers is 45. So we'll say let the numbers be x and y. So we have got two numbers, x and y. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now we are
Yes.
saying whose sum is 45 means x plus y equals to 45. Is that okay? Clear?
Yes.
And we are saying find two numbers whose ratio is 7:8 means x over y equals to 7:8. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
So sometimes we are talking about one variable all the time, but it is sometimes easy to use two variables. It is not difficult, right?
Yes.
In school books, we are writing one variable using many, thinking that student will feel comfortable with one. No, no, no. Student feels comfortable by breaking it down into more variables. That's what I feel. You get my point? And
Yes.
so I am introducing second variable to you, but it is like the same equation, one variable equation. Now look here. X plus y is 45 means I could write y as equal to what? 45 minus x. Is that okay? X plus y is 45, then what is y?
X plus y is
45 minus x. See,
I'm not understanding this.
if you add two numbers, one is x, the other one will be 45 minus x. If you add two numbers whose sum is 45, just change. Oh, you don't understand this? Okay, let me just do it like other way. Let me do like this. We have x plus y equals to 45, correct? Let me subtract y from both the sides. Then y and y cancel and we get x equals to 45 minus y. Is this clear now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you could also think like this. Let the smaller number be x. Then the other number will be 45 minus x because their sum is 45. You get the idea?
Yes.
But it is easy to now again look at it. The two numbers are x and y, whose sum is 45. Then x is what? X is 45 minus y, right? We have to get one variable at the end. So if I know y, I mean, I wanted to write y equals to 45 minus x. I'll subtract y. Wait. because in the solution I've removed y. So if I take away x, then what happens? Then I get y equals to 45 minus x. Is that okay?
Yes.
So the other number is 45 minus x. If I have two numbers, one of them is x and their sum is 45, then the other number will be 45 minus x. Is this clear now?
Yes.
Now, x over y is the ratio of the two numbers. I could write this as x over, what is y for me? 45 minus x equals to 7
Yes.
over 8. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
So let's go back to the solution. This is what you have to do, thinking. This is how do you define variable? And write equation. Now, so we are saying, let's go back to the question, and we are saying, find two numbers in the ratio of 7 is to 8 whose sum is 45. You see that?
Yes.
Sum is 45. So, if x is, let the smaller number be x. One of them will be x, right? Because it is 7 over 8. 7 is smaller than 8. So, I'll write smaller number on top and bigger number in the bottom. You understand now?
Yes.
Then the larger number will be 45 minus x because their sum is 45. That is how we get. So this we get from condition 2.
Okay.
Sum of two numbers is 45. This is sum of two numbers. Sum is 45. Correct? So if we add these two things, let us say we add this and we add this, correct? And we get 45, correct?
Yes.
So that means that we could say that one of them, let's say the triangle will be what? Then the triangle will be equal to 45 minus square. Is that okay?
Yes.
That is what we are writing. So the other number is 45 minus x.
Okay.
Now we know ratio. Ratio means 7 is to 8, which we can write as a fraction, rational number. So we have smaller number is x, bigger number is 45 minus x. So x over 45 minus x is 7 over 8. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So we have written first thing equation in terms of one variable. So we have one variable equation, right?
Yes.
Now how will you solve this? It does not look like linear. Is it linear equation? No, it is not linear, right? So
Yes.
if I cross multiply, you understand cross multiply?
Yes.
So that is to say, let me write. So I will multiply 8 with x. So I get 8x.
Yes.
And this with 7.
Yes.
7 times 45 minus x. Now do I get linear equation?
Yes.
8x equals to 7 times 45 minus x. Do you see that?
Yes.
So what we have done here is from a rational equation, we got a linear equation.
Yes.
Now you know how to solve linear equation. Solve it. We have got 8x equals to 7 times 45 minus x. So first step, what we are going to do? Simplify expressions, right?
Yes.
So the expression on the right hand side is 7 times 45 minus x. I open the bracket and simplify. Multiply 7 with both the terms. 7 times 45 is 315 and 7 times minus x is minus 7x. So we have 8x equals to 315 minus 7x. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now you transpose, bring 7x to the left side. When you transpose, the sign changes. 8x plus 7x equals to 315, correct?
Yes.
Now you combine these two terms, 7 and 8 is 15, and you get 15x equals to 315. and then you divide by 15, right? And then you divide by 15 and you get x equals to 315 divided by 15, which is 21. Got it?
Yes.
Once you get the value of x, find y. What is y? Y is the other number, 45 minus 21, which is 24 for you. Okay? Then write down the answer. This is your answer, correct? The numbers are 21 and 24. Check. 21 divided by 24. You can divide both by 7, right? No.
Yes.
By, sorry, 3. Divide both by 3. What do you get?
Just a second, what are you asking?
You can check your answer. 21 divided by 24. We got two numbers as 21 and 24, right?
Yes.
If you want to simplify it, it is equals to 7 over 8, dividing both by 3, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So this ratio 21 is to 24 is same as 7 is to 8, correct?
Yes.
So it is the correct answer. You get the idea.
Yes.
Do you understand how we solve this question?
Yes.
Right?
So normally we can take two variables. It is allowed if you take two variables.
Yeah, no problem. Then we started with two variable and then wrote the second variable in terms of the first variable. You see that?
Okay.
If you cannot get it straight, you could also think like this. Work with two variables, right? Let me explain this point with the help of another example, a simpler example this time. So we'll now model with algebra. This is very important. Similar case, word problem. The question here is, father is 2 years less than 5 times old as his son. Can you read the statement once?
Father is 2 years less than 5 times as old as his son.
Right? How will you write? So now we have two people, father and son, correct?
Yes.
Now, it is very difficult to write this equation in one variable. So what I will say, let father be f, son be s. I have defined two variables. Do you understand?
Yes.
So define two variables. We are saying father and son. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now read the question again. Father is 2 years less than 5 times as old as son. So father is means equal to 2 years
Yes.
less than. Than means you have to write minus 2 later, right? 2 years
Yes.
less than 5 times old as son. Do you get the equation? Father is 5 times son minus 2. You get the equation?
Can you repeat again?
Father is 2 years less than 5 times father is 2 years less than 5 times as old as his son.
Just a second. Wait, I'll change my connection. I'm not able to hear you.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Now is it clear? Can you please read the
Yes.
question?
Yes. Father is 2 years less than 5 times as old as his son.
How will you write this equation?
Father is well. I don't know how to write this.
Father is 2 years less. Father is means father equals to, correct?
Yes.
2 less than 5 times as son. 5 times, this is 5 times son, 5s,
Yes.
and 2 less. Do you see that?
Yes.
So 5 times, this is 5 times. 5 times son's age, and this is 2 less.
Okay.
Because it is 2 less than, it will come later. So now read and relate.
That means that he's 5 times elder than his son, and we have to minus 2 from the equation.
Father is 2 years less than 5 times as old as his son. So if you do 5, let's say son is, let's say 4 years old. 5 times 4 will be 20 and less 2 will be 18. I know this is
Yes.
not the right answer, but this is just to explain, right? Let us say
Yes.
son is 20. 20 times 5 is 100, less 2 is 98. You understand now? Father is
Yes.
2 years less than 5 times as old as his son. So that is the equation. Is it okay? If the son is
Yes.
10, 10 times 5 is 50, less 2 is 48, then father's age will be 48. You get the idea?
Yes.
This tells you how father's age is related with the son's age. Father is 2 years less than 5 times as old as his son. Complicated statement. You get the idea? So it is
Yes.
better to write two variables. So sometimes. Now the second statement. Now let's look into the second statement, which is if sum of their ages is 40. This is simple. Sum of their ages 40 means son plus father is 40, right?
Yes.
So we get the second equation. So now we have two equations. We are saying let the age of father and son be f and s respectively. So we have written in one statement both the variables. So we have defined our variables, correct?
Yes.
First, father is 2 less than 5 times son. Father is 2 less than 5 times son. One equation. We call this as equation
Yes.
1. Sum of their ages is 40. We got the second equation. Is that clear to you? So we have two
Yes.
equations now. Is that clear?
Yes.
Sum of their ages is 40. Now, we know that father is 5 times this equation. Substitute this value here in f. F is 5s minus s.
Yes.
So I, instead of f, wrote 5s minus 2, right?
Yes.
And then I already have plus s equals to 40. Now I get a linear equation. Do you see that?
Yes. Got the equation.
In one variable. So the idea is, if you start with two variables, you can get linear equation in one variable very easily. We call this method as substitution method.
Substitution method.
What we did, we substituted the value of f in s, right? We substitute this value here, right?
Yes.
So once you substitute one variable in the equation in terms of the other variable, you are left with only one variable because one variable has been substituted, correct?
Yes.
Now you have the equation 2s minus 2 plus s equals to 40. Can you solve this equation easily? Add 5s and s, you get 6s. And
Yes.
transpose 2, 40 plus 2, correct?
42. 42 upon 6. And
So we have the equation 5s minus 2 plus s equals to 40. So first you combine these two. You get 6x
yes.
minus 2
Yes.
equals to this is 40. And then you add 2. So 6x equals to 40 plus 2, which is 42, correct?
Yes.
And then you divide by 6. And then you get 7. Is that clear?
Yes.
So now you get son's age as 7. You can find father's age. 7 times 5 minus 2, right?
Yes. So
That's what we
33.
did. 7 times 5 divided by 2. 7 times 5 is 35. Minus 2. Minus 2 is 33. 35 minus 2, you get father's age. You get the idea.
Yes.
Find age of each. Father is 33 and son is 7-year old. You have to write both the ages with their units, years old. Do you understand now?
Yes.